Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Sitting with Spirit, the section of the podcast where I sit with Spirit, get the messages from our angels and guides and past loved ones that want to be shared for the collective this week. Please take what resonates with you and leave the rest. And if you know somebody who might benefit from the message, please send it their way. So the first thing that I want to talk about before I get into the messages was I was called to share about the connection with pets and past loved ones. And our past loved ones work through our pets. I really believe that our pets are able to perceive the spirit world in a way that us, with our distractions and our technology and our noise and our constant busyness and activity, have to really actively work to connect with the spirit world. And I think it comes more naturally to our pets. And a message that I got really early on from a medium at Arthur Findlay College was like basically saying, oh, I see a little white dog around you, which is my dog Ronaldo, and that your mom sends love through that dog. And so I've seen a similar message in my readings where sometimes our past loved ones, they work through our pets. And if you find your pet being extra loving, clingy, needy, or if they even are helping you on your grief journey while you're missing someone, like pets are really special healers in their own right. But then our past loved ones in spirit can kind of nudge them or direct them to, give us a little extra love or send love through them. And it's very similar to how our past loved ones send birds as signs. They send butterflies as signs. It's like the natural world and the spirit world work hand in hand in really beautiful ways. And so just stay open to that, because animal energy is so tied in with past loved one energy, even if it's just like a hawk hanging outside your window for hours. It's like, why would that hawk be doing that? They are sent and they get the message, and it's just very, very special. So I just wanted to call attention to that. So when I started tuning into the messages from our angels and guides, the very first thing I saw was the symbol of a baby. And a baby is my sign for a new chapter, rebirth. It can be an actual baby, something new that wants to be born into your life. But this baby was in shadow. And so what that tells me is that for a lot of us, we know that something new wants to come in, but we aren't quite sure what that is or how to go about it. Or we might be having doubts about it, fears about it. The inner villain voice might be very loud. There's something here between a shadowy relationship to the new that wants to come in. And that can be connected in so many different ways. It can be a hard time letting go of what isn't working. It could be fear of timelines. It can be scarcity consciousness. It can be just so many different things. But the main message here is that, just like using the metaphor for pregnancy, that sort of time period, I believe it's called the gestational period, where you're pregnant and like the baby needs to grow and mature, like that's where it feels like we are now, in this womb like portal where the new wants to come in. And it's just in this time where we're being asked to make aligned space for it. That is our one job right now in the physical world, to cut ties to things that haven't been working so that there's space for it to come in, energy for it to come in, time for it to come in. In the mental realm, where are the thoughts trying to hold you back or keep things crowded or noisy? Where does there need to be more space there? In the spiritual world, where can we make more room for connection with our angels and guides and make more space? And that's really the big message right now, is making space for what wants to come through next, even if we're not sure what that is yet or how it will come about yet. That's not really our job right now. Our job right now is to do the best with what's in our control here and now, to be radically honest with ourselves about what's working, what's not, and take the appropriate action steps so that that baby can come out of shadow and be more of an excitement and a celebration. We're dealing with the shadowy portion of this right now. The shining light on the darkness, the clarity, and the finding peace in the unknown. And then I was seeing a question mark as a symbol, which is my sign for just a lot of unknown right now, a lot of moving pieces, a lot of big questions. And your angels were kind of funny because they were showing me this like hotline and like the phone's going off the hook. And I just got this feeling of like, our angels hear us, and it is a time where they are stepping in extra close because so many people are navigating times of transition and times where they need support. And I kept seeing this feeling of like, while you're in transition, your angels are on like overtime, like they're sending the A squad, like they're helping you and they're here to help you. And your job right now is to continue to make space so that that symbol of a baby energy has space to come through, has the right conducive conditions to come through. And that's what's in our control here and now. I was getting a female past loved one coming through. She showed me ballet slippers, and I felt like there was a connection to her as a ballerina and that she would have been really proud of that. And she was showing me my symbol for mental health. So that doesn't always mean like something diagnosed like bipolar or something like that. It can also just be like struggled with anxiety or depression or low lows and sort of needing to constantly be in connection with what are my thoughts saying, where is fear lying. So it can, the mental health symbol can kind of be a full spectrum of what that could mean. She was also showing me music notes, and I felt music was very important to her. And I saw like an old jewelry box with a ballerina that was like twirling on it, which I feel like she would have had something like that. I also got a connection to Italy with her. I got a connection to fashion and really liking to be well dressed and put together. I also felt a heart problem with her. I felt a lot of pressure on my chest, and I also felt like her personality was a bit more shy or reserved or proper or kind of just not the most warm on the exterior, but a little bit more held together and composed. And then I saw a little girl and her family doing ballet, and that she was really like, she loved that, and that she dances with her and that she's around her, and that felt really beautiful. And so her message, she had a few messages. One of them was that we're in a moment now to peel back the layers of what's been expected of us, like who we were expected to be, how we're expected to show up in society, the stories we tell ourselves about who we are, the proper decorum of things. It's this moment where she's saying, like, I wish I would have let myself be a little bit messier. I wish I would have let myself color outside of the lines and make mistakes. I wish I would have let myself explore and experiment and follow my truth. But there's something about her life that felt very laced up and composed, and like she really felt like she had to show up that one way. But there's a message here of like, strip that all back, because at the end of the day, none of that really matters. What matters is love, and if we followed our passion, and if we were true to ourselves. And so that's her first message, is just being a little easier on yourself, not taking everything so seriously. And that's the feeling that I get from her, is that she took things very seriously, and that she wishes that she would have just sort of, you know, loosened up a little bit, had a little bit more fun. And then she was showing me the symbol of a lotus flower coming into bloom. And she was saying too that in her life, she was a little preoccupied on appearances and material things. And that what she really wished that she would have focused on more was like her connection with spirituality and doing the deeper work on, you know, rewiring her thoughts, feeding her mind, focusing on inward health and nourishment and beauty as external beauty and nourishment. And so there's something here too about like, as you age, as you get older, these external things that you used to care about won't be as significant to you. And it is that relationship that we have with our soul and with our inner reality that strengthens and doesn't go away and is there for us throughout our whole life. And to make sure that you're giving it as much love and attention as attachment to the external. And then the other thing that I was getting from her, it's funny because I get this connection to like Audrey Hepburn with her. And it's like she would have either been compared to her or kind of looked like her or have a similar style as her. But for some reason, she's bringing that up. And I get this feeling from her of like, we're in a moment now. And she's all about balance. So she's saying that internal stuff. But on the other side of that, I do feel like this person was very connected to fashion and liking to look nice. And the last thing she's leaving us on is that it seems like for some people, there's an evolution of personal style, like stepping into a new way that we feel beautiful, or we style ourselves, or that we are honoring the inner shifts that we had with the external reflection of how we dress ourselves or how we style ourselves. And I feel like that's the last message that she's leaving on, is this sort of evolution of self-expression through style. And I feel like also this is going to be a very specific message, but I feel like for some people out there, there's a deep connection to style and clothes and fashion and design that you're not taking seriously, or that you have such natural skills and talents for, but that you're keeping on the back burner. And her message is like, just let it go. Like, just do what you want to do. Put it out there. Take the leap. And it kind of goes back in her earlier message of, yes, she was a ballerina. She was proud of that. She was a mother. She was proud of that. She showed up in all these ways, but she had these other passions and things that she would have liked to explore that she didn't give herself the chance to. And that's what I want to leave you on, especially if you're somebody that resonates with that fashion or design type of message. Like, that is a very valid gift and it's needed. And whatever your gifts are, the last message here is just don't sleep on them. Don't let the imposter syndrome hold you back. Life is too short. Let yourself play. Let yourself make mistakes. Just let yourself be a little more graceful with the dance that is life. You don't have to be perfect at it. And she wishes that she was just a little more gentle on herself while she was here. So those are the messages. Claire, do you want to add anything?
That was so beautiful, and definitely all things I really needed to hear in this moment. So I'm so grateful for you and for the messages, and especially what you said at the beginning about how this is a moment of big transition and letting go of stuff and not being sure what's coming in. And that can be such a challenging experience. I'm definitely feeling challenged by it. So just sending love to anybody else who is in that experience right now, and taking the last thing you said of just not being so hard on ourselves and knowing that we're supported extra when we're in those moments is just such a comfort.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that. I agree. And yeah, I think the baby with the shadow is like sort of one of the most important parts of the message this week. I think we're in this really interesting moment, but what's in our control is honesty, knowing what isn't working, and just continuing to move the ball forward in what our heart is asking for. And I also, one last thing I feel called to share is that for some people, this feels tied to fertility or pregnancy loss, this baby with a shadow over it and the fear of that. But I just want to say I get this overarching feeling of like the joy on the other side. And so I do feel like there's this message here of just keep moving forward, keep trusting yourself, keep trusting the path, and know that there's so much joy on the other side of this shadowy time, the questioning time, and there is this rebirth moment. And I really want to leave on that note, because that like angel overtime hotline, they're working overtime to help bring you to that joyful place. And what they're saying now is that there is joy in the here and now as well. So focus on the joy, because we can't always be pushing to like, what's next, what's next, what's next. But there's also joy and magic right here, right now, and make sure that you're creating space for that too. Thank you so much for tuning in to Magic Hour, my loves. We hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your week. Much, much love.